Alright, so when it comes to marketing, it should be one of the last resources, if not the last one, to be considered as a non-essential expense. But it is being cut off in most organizations because of today's uncertainty, because of COVID-19. So almost 70% of companies expect to reduce their marketing budget for the rest of the year, 2020. Although what these companies don't see is that without marketing, their organizations are sentenced to death. And so this happens in a moment in history when many firms keep going bankrupt or reducing their operations by almost non-existent. Which, sorry for the clarification, but it's also known as financial crisis. For example, I got an example. In the case of Spain, it is one of the countries that was in the epicenter of the COVID-19 disease a few weeks ago. Their GDP is divided into three main areas: agriculture, industry, and finally services, where tourism represents a 12.3% of the country's total GDP. Damn, that's a lot. That's a hell of a number. And so that happens when now tourism is being hit hard by the crisis. So therefore, assuming tourism will not recover until 1 to 3 years from now, this means that most companies in the industry will most likely go bankrupt or will fire most of their current employees, sadly. So once it is, in every crisis there are opportunities, and so only resilient organizations and individuals will take advantage of these ones. So now, this is the fun part, I like to say, where marketing can play a great role and keep your company's awareness high and thrive while your competitors keep getting smaller and complaining instead of taking action. It is true that in times of crisis like this one, non-essential expenses must be cut off. And even though marketing is not one of them, as we mentioned before, your customer base could get reduced as well, which means revenue would fall, because there's no demand, there's no supply either, and revenue fall. In this case, expenses must be lower than your revenue, and you must save as much money as possible to avoid going bankrupt, as you may know. So although right now you should try to keep and not reduce this expense, the marketing expense, since it's a non-negotiable one. This means that firms must continuously be creating new content, depending on your audience, on Instagram, Facebook, but mainly on TikTok because of its high virality. You post something, people like it, and it can go viral real easy. So also create articles like the one that I wrote. It's on wifimilk.com/blog. So do it every day if possible, but do not mention COVID-19 since it can actually help you at the beginning, but it's not a way to go in the near future since people can relate to the situation right now. You help them, they help you by understanding you, and they may buy from you, but it's not a way to build trust or loyalty. So don't do it. So remember, try very hard to not cut on marketing and keep producing content daily if possible, since this is the only way you can even take advantage of the situation and get into the big players level. I mean, disrupting the incumbents. So imagine you're down here, you're a small company, it could be a startup, and your incumbent is up there, the next level. Now, if you played well during this crisis, you could actually take them over and overpass them. You could win if you did well. So this is where marketing plays a great role and can actually save you, but not just save you, but change the history. So, well, that's my point. That's what I wanted to say. I hope everything goes back to normal soon. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.